We are loaded up and ready to roll from Colorado Springs to California.
Where we going, baby pappy? Hey, we're going to California.
We going to Cali?
California way.
California?
In the sweet new vehicle. Look at all that space. Oh my God. Let's do it.
All right, we drove about 1,000 miles yesterday from Colorado Springs. We made it to Central Nevada. Me, Micah, and Lexi driving through this beautiful basin and range geology. If you don't know what that is, it means we're driving over a mountain and then we go into a basin. Then you drive over a mountain and you go into a basin. That is, that's Nevada. But yeah, we're headed to California. We're gonna get there today and evaluate some sites. Here we'll talk a little bit about the mission. Mike and I are heading into Susanville, California. We're going to meet up with a forester and a couple other members of the Vets to Drones team, try and make a plan on how we're going to attack some of these sites. Some of the sites are pretty big, so for what we're doing, we're trying to figure out how we can do this reasonably. This will be fun. We're meeting a whole bunch. There's got a lot of minds on this project this time, so we're going to figure some stuff out.
Stuff done.
We were there this last little stint that we did. We did sleep in Nevada. We found a sweet free camping.
And that big muddy body of water is called Honey Lake. Honey Lake dries up every year and turns into an alkali flat. Not a very nice place. We're not quite to Susanville. We're out about 15 miles, but we've already seen a landscape that's been marred by wildfire. We've officially turned onto our first road in Susanville. We are tracking the KML. Mike and I and Lexi are out here doing some initial reconnaissance of these sites. Tomorrow we're meeting up with the forester and we're coming back up. Tomorrow's supposed to be scattered thunderstorms, so we're trying to get as much as we can in this initial day. Yeah. First thing I noticed as we come back in here, well, you got a private road, but this looks like one of the only places to get up here. We're gonna check it out. So as we approach our area here, I guess the basic idea is that we're just trying to find a road that drives basically straight through the property. This one, the outline of this whole property ended up being about 1,600 acres, so it's a pretty big one. So, and just like that, we pass into our KML zone, and we are in lots of burnt, dead trees. So I didn't record this last interaction, but we just got to a road. There were people up on the road, kind of not blocking it. They're just kind of we didn't approach them because it came to a sign that said no trespassing, private road. Not that the people didn't look approachable, but I mean, we got everybody coming tomorrow to come like we got a forester to come do this with us tomorrow. I think we're just gonna play it safe and go out when we have somebody from the area or like with permission to go into these sites. We are headed back into our first site for the day. We've got this truck ahead of us. That's Forester Mike. He's gonna be a part of the crew today. I got Micah driving and we left Lexi at home because we don't know how hot it's gonna get today. But we're gonna pop up here and we're gonna check these sites out. Mike has been actively involved in the planning and reforestation efforts that have gone on. These are the roads in Susanville. Definitely another road where I'm glad I don't have my personal vehicle. All right, we've made it up here with our man Forester Mike.
We're out here in the sheep fire burn, which was salvage logged in 2020 following the fire, and then the following year we replanted it.
Right.
And here are...
How old did you say these guys are?
These are a year old right now.
A year old. And so, yeah, as I see, this landscape is just littered with these little guys.
And we got another one over here.
I'll take the photo.
17-foot spacing.
Okay.
And so the planters, you know, they'll put one down and then walk.
Yeah.
And then boom, drop another right here.
Are they just counting 17 paces or something?
They're good at it.
Yeah.
They can, you know, they're so dialed in that
yeah.
it's pretty much just second nature.
And yeah, as I see through, you can kind of see
boom.
As I walk, naturally, this is kind of, they're almost like a grid.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And then as they grow up, you know, once they get to a certain age, we'll come through and kind of thin them out to keep the spacing where we want it. And there's going to be natural stuff poking in between too. I mean, it's obviously a lot newer.
You can see here, we have some actual natural regrowth according to Forester Mike.
And then the bigger ones are the ones that we planted
Okay,
right
gotcha.
there.
Gotcha. Okay.
These bigger
So the
guys.
teeny,
Oops, shadow right here.
I think about it, but it was so cute.
Right. Mike just brought up an excellent point for the future of the program. Mike could say that these weeds right here a week ago were not here.
This is like peak growing season because we've had an extended, you know, wet season and longer winter. A lot more water on the ground than usual. So stuff right now, usually this would be dead and dried up, but it's been, you know, so wet that all these weeds are growing back, and obviously kind of difficult to distinguish between the pine seedling and then the weeds, which we do not want here.
Yeah, what I'm thinking for future sort of flight stuff, we can kind of, I mean, it's needs to be considered this sort of like the timing we're doing on this stuff, because we can make a much better map of all this stuff if we don't have all this other vegetation sort of mucking things up when we do the final processing.
Yeah.
Yay, it's everyone's part of the video. It's narration time. I can't stand dead space, no sound, so I'll either sing or play my crappy guitar. I don't feel like playing the guitar right now, so I'm gonna talk. This is an FPV video of us flying around this site. I feel like the FPV is a really good way to kind of give a tour of some of these big sites. You see what the big overall general look is on these sites. Then we kind of dive in and walk the ground. We can kind of show with the GoPro, the other drones that are a little bit closer, like what it looks like on the ground. Give a good representative sort of idea of what these things look like as you traverse around, because it is kind of hard to see from the drone. So another interesting thing about the ecosystem here, these weeds and stuff that are growing would naturally be up here. The fire that's taken away over the
overstory.
Yep.
So generally you have a canopy that, like over there, you know, that's going to take up the nutrients and your sunlight, and your forest floor is going to be a lot less exposed to growth from weeds and stuff. Now that we had the fire, you know, rain comes down, these get full sun. You can see there's nothing competing with these, and so they're kind of growing at free will here since it's been burned.
Perfect. As we go through here, you can just see a lot of these saplings are taking off well. They're all over the landscape. Some more devastation, but also lots of regrowth. I see there's just trees all over the place. So it looks like even for the smallest of maps, a lot of these places, terrain follow is going to be essential. We got a lot of variation here, and then our trees are anywhere between 50 and 100 foot tall, so we have to account for that for our flight. But then the terrain changes so much and so quickly, we're gonna have to probably slow it down too, so the terrain follow can keep up. There's a lot of things to consider.
Things out here.
And Forester Mike has a puppy. Bonus. This is Boomer. Hi, Boom Boom. Hi, buddy. Go.
A little shark.
Boomer.
Come through this landscape just to give you an idea of how concentrated these things are. There's trees all over the place. As we get to talking with our friend Mike here a little more, I realized I didn't give him a proper introduction. So without further ado, I'm going to let Mike take it away.
All right, so my name is Mike Milkey. I am a staff forester for WM Beatty & Associates, a private timberland management company. And so we're out here after the fire has come through, it's been replanted. we've got trees in the ground. You can see we've got stumps on the ground too of where the trees used to be after they were killed by the fire. And this is an example of what this whole area used to look like right after the burn. So this is not our property. We're right on a property boundary, and there's a bunch of black trees with nothing growing but weeds underneath them. Versus here you have stumps and trees coming in.
So we're gonna do a panorama here. This is going to be a nice contrast between did nothing, did lots.
What do you see? What do you see?
The very clear difference between what has been managed post-fire and what has not. All right, we're going in. Ooh. What happened?
Got stuck.
Stuck?
Oh, just
Oh. Oh my. It's another hillside where I just see tree after tree after tree after tree. And there's not as much undergrowth here at this site. This might be a good site for a map. We could probably actually pick up the trees fairly well. More drone footage. Here we go. You can kind of see the little saplings here on the ground. They're the only green things that are popping out. Well, there's a few little weeds and stuff too, but they're really prevalent here. This landscape was one of the better ones that we saw for trees. See, I suck at this stuff. Now we're going real slow. I think we're gonna hit sport mode here soon. There you go. Boom, sport mode. And now we can fly around and do a lot cooler stuff. You can see at the beginning of this video, the drone was kind of creeping, kind of being jerky. It's because I was trying to fly really low with the FPV, and it was kind of throwing some warnings, whatever, telling me to fly higher. So I just shut it off and put it into sport mode. Zipped around like I wanted to, because I'm a free, independent man. So we've sort of reached the end of the road for the day. It gets a little harder to traffic as we go further, but this is going to be one of the major places where we come visit tomorrow. We want to come check out a few. This actually looks like a place that would be very suitable for producing a map. It'd actually be useful. But we're going to come back here tomorrow when we have all the guys, and we're going to attack it with a few more heads.
Cool.
Another great thing about having Forester Mike here is he's a local and he knows the roads and he can help us navigate when things aren't immediately apparent.
Yes.
There's a lot of old forestry roads out here.
They change a lot.
A lot of dead ends. They change a lot. It's always good to have someone who knows the lay of the land. So we're not wasting time in hitting dead ends or hitting gates. Yeah. Map reading is essential. An essential skill to be able to get out here and do this stuff.
Helps to have two phones.
Helps to have
coordinate it.
Yeah. Nothing is easy.
Nothing.
So while I was flying, Micah got some valuable information from Forester Mike about this area and access. Micah?
So this isn't public land. Technically, it is private land owned by this company. I can tell you the name off the top of my head right now. But they do allow anybody to come up here, basically do whatever you want, hunt, anything like that. Just don't drive off road. They're going to be really mad. They have to spend a lot of money fixing everything. And don't come up here in wintertime.
There you have it. We're good to be up here. And never enter the field without a VO that's a badass driver. Some of these roads get gnarly. You want them to be able to handle it.
Handle it all.
Yeah, so there's all these berms, big piles all over the place here. Definitely not a road for a Prius. Sorry, Will. More video from the devastation of the Dixie Fire. This thing wiped out a lot of stuff. It's always so surreal to be in these landscapes. sure is pretty up here. Wow, this place is covered with flowers. All right, we're driving into our area. Yeah. So my understanding is this beady company, yeah, they come in and they manage the area. They cut the loggable logs, get everything down, maintain it, then they masticate, or take all the undergrowth down, and then they plant. We're up in here now. They're just these big, large areas. This is going to be a good one for a map. However, I don't see any trees yet. Right, we get up into this area. I see it's far more wide open. The terrain is less undulatory from this angle. It looks like far more drone friendly. We are going to have to take into account these trees, which are probably each about 100 feet. But this also is a huge area. I think I can't remember how long, 500 or 600 acres. We're gonna have to see how it goes. As we come up this hillside, start to notice all these flags, and each of these flags has a little tree, and it is about as far, well, it must be a little section of it here because it doesn't go through the whole thing, but it's a lot of it. Those will be nicely picked up on the drone if we do a map here too. Just to give you a little more scope on how many of these flags are, here's another little drone video kind of traversing this hill. They're all over the place. Who knows what they mean? We were never able to get back with the forester the next day to see if he figured out what this stuff actually meant. All right, just learned a cool thing from Mike over here, that these are the trees that we were looking for up here. Now these are the same trees we found down at the lower elevation, planted around the same time, same species, but they're a lot smaller. Mike?
That is because we are much higher elevation, and we're on the mountain here, so they get exposed to a lot more elements, wind, a lot of snow. In fact, as of a few weeks back, they were probably covered in snow. Wow. So the growing season they get is a lot shorter than what we found down low.
We got to figure out a way to get these trees to show up in some of these videos, but I assure you this whole entire landscape is speckled with these trees. Almost, they're very regularly spaced. Someone was very deliberately placing them.
Further near the origin of the sheep fire, which started down in this drainage, and it started on the Forest Service, which was brushy, and it just blew up and then got on us and then kind of took out our timberland here.
So if we kind of look over on this hillside over here, I don't know how well this is going to pick this up, but that is a plantation with about 10 years of growth, did you say?
I'd say 10 to 15 years old, and it's a previous fire that was burned. Same exact thing we're doing here, and as you can see, it's green as can be, and there's new trees everywhere.
So that would be safe to say we can expect that hillside over there to somewhat...
This will look like that
in
10 to 15 years.
Awesome. We get lots of high quality launch pads in terrain like this. So I'm going to get up and do a bunch of panos, but I think this landscape is definitely a good candidate for a map tomorrow.
Updated. Check map to confirm.
So just to preface this next flight pano, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to put one up down here really low. But what we got over here is all of these flagged trees. They're all over with red and green.
Blue.
Or red and blue. Red and blue flags all over the place.
Some of the red doesn't have anything, so we're curious.
I'm going to do a really low panorama of just this area right now. Maybe somebody
I will make sure to find out so that
Cool.
when you do come out tomorrow, you can have...
I lied. It rained on crap today. It's really hard. I thought I might talk while I did this, but it's really hard to talk or play guitar. So I'm going to stop now. Here's more FPV footage. This was a really fun place to fly around. There's a lot of these big trees to get really close to like this. Zoom! That was really fun. Yeah, you see how this whole landscape is kind of big and barren, and like everything out here that we went and walked over, there were trees everywhere. It was a nice little space. Oh, here's a nice little shot. And zoom! Out the window, you can actually see an example of what 10 years of growth on one of these sites that they've actually replanted looks like. We talked to Mike, and he said that this is all part of their same company. That they actually were responsible for this planting. So you can see up on this side of the road, this has had no planting done. Nothing has been done to be managed up here. You can see all the dense undergrowth. Oh, dang it. Well, we're over here, we're out of where I was earlier. So you see this has more undergrowth as well. But on that other side where there is all the plantation, there's almost nothing coming up. And the reason for that is that these trees are taking some of the nutrients from all this dense undergrowth and is preventing them from taking hold and becoming a fire hazard. As a pretty powerful statement to what this reforestation stuff can do, here's a property line. We're going to do a drone video so you really get a chance to see it. But this stuff is thick. This hasn't been replanted. Nothing has been done here. And you cross this line right here. And this, how old is this?
Should be 10 years, 10 to 15.
This is that 10 years of growth. Look, there's nothing on the ground coming up. This might be managed too a little bit, but everything in here is just, I mean, so starkly different from that. That right there, that scares me right now. That's gonna be a tinderbox this summer. Wow. Wow, this is crazy. It's surreal out here. This isn't one of our mapping areas, but I want to take some time here to put the drone up and show you the power that reforestation has on like the ecosystem here. This is a perfect place. So you want to get a good look at the power of forestry and reforestation this stuff has on landscape. Look at the right side, you see unmanaged sort of landscape, and on the left you see a managed landscape where they come through, they've logged, they've taken trees out, they've taken all the loggable resources away, and then they've started replanting. That's on the left side. Right side, yeah, nothing has been done. This stuff is nasty. It's tall. It's chest height on me. I'm about 6'5". It's not pleasant stuff, and it just looks like it's going to be a fire hazard as soon as it dries back out.
Well, Trevor just had a, what do we call it, Mike?
I believe that was a kestrel.
A kestrel hawk. Apparently is a little tiny thing. I've never seen one so small.
Very interested in my drone swooping at it. So we got it out of the air immediately. That's something we're gonna have to pay attention to when we come here and make an actual automated map tomorrow. Again, more of this managed landscape with more trees just looks entirely different. Go. Whoa, look at that sick rock! Another managed landscape. You see one of their plantations, they call it. Whoa, a cow! Holy shit! I did not expect that. Yeah, these managed and replanted plantations, they look really nice. It looks like a lot less of a fire hazard. The terrain just got extreme. That's very clay-rich soil that would suck to get stuck in. We got this. You got it, Micah. Glad I got such a good driver. look at this landscape, it's so interesting. Like these trees back there in the back, you got a boulder field. There's these nice meadows, short grass, flowers, trees. I'd come back out here and camp.
It's different everywhere you go.
Everywhere you go. It's another historic site. You can see there's an old burnt tree that's still up there for reference. And, hey, a fire did come through here. They come through and they manage that. They log out the loggable logs, then they take out that stuff or make it into biomass, start grinding it, masticating or grinding it up. And then they come in, they do herbicide, one level earlier of herbicide first, and then they throw these trees in. And then the herbicide keeps the initial weed growth down the first few years of their planting, of their growth. And then after that, they don't spray anymore. The trees take care of all the rest of the undergrowth naturally by absorbing all the nutrients and water. Super cool ecosystem. Learning a lot about it.
Pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome out here. So it turns out this site is really cool. This is actually going to be a replant site that got burned through again. So this is going to be an interesting one to do. I'm not sure. We're at the very bottom of the topography here. We're going to be going up around this hill. I'm not sure what it's all going to look like, but I'm going to do a pano here. And yeah, this is an interesting one. This first stop on our last site. You can see how the fire kind of burned through this old plantation. You see it didn't take all the trees. We were having a difficult time finding saplings in this particular area, but I thought I'd spin the drone up anyway and kind of we didn't know what we were looking for. So we thought we'd get as much footage data as we could from this particular site. And this is what we got. We're thinking this is what, how old the growth? 10?
This should be as well in that 10 to 15 year window.
Okay.
And then this fire is in the last few years.
Okay, cool. We're gonna have some.
See how it just slowly, obviously we took losses here, but then it just slowly knocks down and the plantation survived.
Awesome. This is gonna be more of this landscape. I just see, I don't see any fresh saplings. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna get up. I'm gonna get to the high ground. I'm not sure what the intent of this this site actually was, or if this is even like if this was a mistake or not. We are in the heart of our area right now, and there's no saplings. All right, we've pulled off at an area that I think is going to be good to make a map. And actually, when we pulled off, we actually found some spots that we do see some regrowth, which is the kind of the first we've seen this as we've come up into this area. So it's not entirely sure how accurate the KML is, what we're working with, but I think that's part of what we're trying to work out here, right guys? So yeah, but there are definitely trees here. My idea is to make sort of a lower map of some of this area, just so I don't have to come back here again tomorrow. This is the farthest one back. We actually have a place where we know there has been some planting done. So we're gonna get a map done here and call it a day. A little wrap around this hillside, give an idea of how this looks from where you can see in the background, a little rain coming in. We were actually unable to map at this one. We had everything set up, we got ready to go, and then the rain moved in and actually pushed us off this mountain. But not yet, not before we did a few videos and got Forester Mike behind the FPV.
So this area, the spraying for herbaceous vegetation after the fire, clearly there's a little more growth on the ground. But as you can see, the seedlings are doing really well. This is all the new growth, just putting it on. And even with the weeds, they're still going.
Yeah, they're all speckled throughout this landscape.
It's just tougher to see them.
Just a little harder to see.
So they're dead.
Yep. But we're gonna make a map and see how it turns out. So with the uncertainty that we have in this area, just kind of regarding where the trees are planted or not, and how big it is, I'm gonna cut my map. I'm just gonna constrain it a little bit, make it a little smaller. I definitely need terrain follow here. As you can see, this is crazy terrain. But I can come here and I can fly pretty low and do a pretty small map, and I'm fairly certain you're gonna be able to pick some of this stuff up. And maybe this area is intended to be as big as it was, because like I said, at the beginning of the KML, we weren't seeing anything for trees. Anyways, it's happening. So I'm gonna put Forester Mike behind the FPV, and I'm going to be watching it on my screen here, and I'm gonna give him a little ride through this territory.
Now you can see it. Dang. There she goes. Take Forester Mac for a ride.
This is so cool.
Yeah, Mike loved his FPV ride. This footage is actually sped up a little bit just so you can get it all in. I think it's so cool to cruise around these landscapes. You get a really good idea of seeing what everything really looks like when you can zip around it really fast, really low, and with the freedom that you get out of one of these first-person view drones. Super cool. Oh, and here we have some more of the same landscape. Yeah. Here we are again. See, yeah, this is really difficult. I'm over it. This is the last voiceover that I'm going to do tonight. All right, Forester Mike, what'd you think of that?
I was just saying, I've done some really cool stuff at work, but that's easily top 5 coolest things. That was awesome. Highly recommend it.
And now we're leaving the area. We appear to have something coming in. There's definitely rain rolling in. It's going to hit us. I've looked at the radar. We're not doing a flight in this stuff, so we're going to come out again tomorrow. No big deal. We're getting a few saplings before we leave out here, but they're definitely not as prevalent on this part of the hill as they were down there. We're not seeing them as densely packed as we were at some of the other sites. And this one's pretty tiny. That might be natural. Oh yeah. But you do get this idea. Some of these, like, when you do see them, they are almost gridded out, evenly spaced. Yeah. So there's some rhyme to this reason. Well, all in all, a successful day in the field. We got a lot of our minor tasks accomplished, drone related and footage related. Didn't get any maps today. I'm going to discuss with the guys what the best way to attack this is going to be. But yeah, all in all, successful mission. Good news is, as we exfil this place, I do see some more trees. I don't know if you can see that. We got called off today. Pitter patter, little raindrops. Damn it. We had some rain down here since we were last here. You can smell it. The ground is wet. Yeah, it just goes to show you how fast things can change here in California. You get these microclimates where you can get dumped on in one place and be fine in others. But yeah, we didn't really see this rain, but obvious they came through here. With our last little bit of footage here, we're gonna say goodbye to Forester Mike.
It was a great day.
Put her there, bud.
I learned a lot. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Good meeting
it was
you
awesome.
guys.
It was good. Thanks a lot, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And
best of luck tomorrow. If you need anything, give me a call. Justin's dialed in. You'll have a great time.
awesome. About to have one very happy little beanie dog. Oh, tired.
Oh my goodness, how much have you been sleeping? How much have you slept today? Oh, you haven't left